Let us start with the revision of the chapter Reach for the Top. The second part is Santosh Yadav. So Santosh Yadav was born in a family where the birth of a boy is considered to be blessing. And when her expecting mother, she met a holy sadhu or a holy man, a sadhu. He also blessed her to, or he also blessed her to give a birth to a baby boy. But contrary to that, Santosh's grandmother, she wished for or she asked for a blessing for a baby girl in the family. And ultimately, what happened? The wish worked, the blessing worked, and ultimately there was the birth of a baby girl after four sons in the family, and that was who? That was Santosh. Her name is Santosh, which means contentment, but she is never contented. She is never satisfied with her present life. She always wanted something extra. As the girls of her age, they used to wear suits, salwar suits or ghagra, as she's from Haryana district. And okay, she's from Haryana district, and she's never, you can say, satisfied herself with the traditional dress that the other girls were wearing. Keshav, Rikhi, turn your face it properly. Okay, and Dilpreet, you also move towards the wall, please. Then Santosh Yadav, she is wearing shorts, pants, as well as other Western dresses. And she knew that if she has chosen a different path for herself, that path would also be meant for others. She would set an example for the other girls. As it was the tradition in the family that they are sending there all the children into the village school only, then she demanded for an admission in a school in Delhi, and even the family, as she belonged to the family of landowners, affluent landowners, they could afford to send their children to even the capital city of country, that means Delhi. But it was a tradition in the family that the children they are studying in the you can say local village school, so that's why she was also given admission there. She started to protest against the set rituals of the family, but when the right time appeared, that is when she turned out to be 16. When she turned out to be 16, she was insisted by her parents to get married. Okay, but she threatened her parents that if they would not provide her a good education or complete education, she would never marry in her life. And for that, she got herself enrolled in a Delhi school against her parents' wish. And she also threatened that if they would not pay for her school fees, she would do a part-time job in order to pay for her fees. So in that manner, finally, the parents had no any other option, or they had no option, and they finally submitted. Okay. So what happened after that? That she has completed her school, and after completing her higher school, she got admission in where she got admission in Maharani College in Jaipur. There she was living in Kasturba hostel, and her room, one of the windows in her room, it was facing the Aravali Hills. Daily in the morning, she used to see many village people going up the mountain, and in the evening coming down. She turned out to be curious to know about their visit, and when she reached near the Aravali Hills, she came to know that it is none other than the villagers. It were only the villagers who were going upstairs, and they are coming back. She asked for she asked to join them in their expedition to climb a mountain, and they agreed, and this started, and this was the spark, or this is the actual spark which was given to her, and she developed her career. She started her career as a mountaineer. Okay. Later on, she got admission after completing her, you can say, college. She immediately got admission in Uttarakanshi Nehru Institute of Mountaineering. Okay. But her, you can say, exams they are going, or her college exams going to be over in April. She would go to her parental house for 1 month and will join the course in May. But because of some unavoidable reasons, the exams were postponed, and and it happened to be that completed on 19th of May, and she has to join her course again of mountaineering on 21st. 2 days were there in between, so she chose not to go to her house, to her home, in order to meet her parents. And in spite of that, she has written a letter to her parents to that she would not be able to come home and meet them, and she preferred of going for mountaineering, you can say, course. After that, she has developed great sense of character. She turned out, she has endurance, she has great physical strength, she has great, you can say, love for mountaineering, and this has helped her to start climbing Mount Everest. Soon after completing her, you can say, course in mountaineering, she started her first climb to Mount Everest, and she scaled Mount Everest for the first time. And she is the only woman, Indian woman, who has scaled Mount Everest twice. After completing her first expedition, she had various good qualities that not only impressed her fellow mates, but her seniors also. Her physical strength, her endurance, her love for the colleague are some of the qualities that attracted everybody towards her, and this is these qualities that are responsible to achieve her feats. Okay. Then later on, when during 1992, during her Everest mission, she had many colleagues also. She tried to share her oxygen mask with one of the companion afterwards. बाद में कर देती हूँ. And she tried to she tried to save the life of her companion, but she did not succeed. Later on, what happened? She saved the life of another companion whose name was Mohan Singh. And how she saved the life? She shared her oxygen cylinder with him, right? Then afterwards, immediately when she completed her, you can say, first mission, Everest mission, she was asked by a Nepalese group to join them for this expedition to Mount Everest for the second time. This time she agreed, and it was less time than 1 year in between her first climb and the second climb. And this was her second expedition to Mount Everest. So when it was asked in an interview about her feelings when she reached Mount Everest, she explained that she could not explain the enormity of the situation at that time. At that time, when she unfurled and hoisted the Indian flag at the top of the mountain, she faced a great sense of, you can say, satisfaction, relaxation, and she felt to be at the top of the world. And after that, she is a great environmentalist also. While coming back from Mount Everest, she has, how much garbage she has taken back? 500 kilograms of garbage she has taken back. So this shows that once, you can say, determination can make everything impossible turn to be possible, and that Santosh Yadav has clearly explained with her journey. Okay, it means, and if we talk about the qualities of Santosh Yadav, determined, adamant to achieve anything, okay, and then she was true to her heart. Whatever she is inside, she is outside also. If she is not disliking anything, she is clearly explaining that I'm not liking. Okay, for example, she stood against the such system of the family. She has the capability to speak her heart to everyone. Okay, she is speaking. If she is not liking the traditional dress, she is wearing the Western ones, it means she is setting path for others also. She is mentally tough. She has determined that she will make up her career in mountaineering, and finally she has proved it. She is the first woman who has scaled Mount Everest twice. Okay. She is respectful towards her seniors also. Respected her seniors, of course. This is the reason why it has made her, you can say, was in the heart of others. Okay. So she is concerned for others. That's why she has saved the life of, she tried to save the life of fellow companions and later on Mohan Singh. And she also has desired to work together with her fellow beings. Understood? So any problem you can ask me. Raise up your hands. I'll just give you 1 minute. If you have any question regarding that. Yes, online as well as offline students. Raise up your hand if you have any problem. Chapter is clear? That's the revision part. So next chapter that we are going to revise today is packing. Packing, humorous account. Okay. 1 minute. One child has raised up the hand. Yes, Raghav.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes, Raghav.
मैम एक बार अचीवमेंट बता दो दोबारा से.
क्या?
मैम her achievements.
Her achievement, she has scaled Mount Everest twice. She is a great environmentalist also. Okay, these are the two main achievements that we have read according to this chapter. Okay, we are talking in context to the given, you can say, content in the chapter only, right? These are the two main achievements. Okay, she scaled Mount Everest in 1992 for the first time, and a year after with the Indianapolis Women's Expedition, who have invited her to join climb to Mount Everest. Okay, that is, it means that helped her to set a record as the only woman who has scaled Mount Everest twice. Okay, and she has also just make it a note that she has also got a nation's top honor, that is Padma Shri, for her this achievement. Okay, that's fine, Raghav. Okay, so now next we are going to start with the revision of the chapter packing. So what is chapter packing? First of all, it is written by Jairam K. Jairam, autobiographical account. So as we have read, so Jairam, who has narrated the incident in which, along with his other two friends named George and Harris, they have planned a you can say river journey or a river adventure in which they are going to pack. So according to this chapter, what the chapter delivers us to, or what message the chapter is delivering, is that we consider packing as a frivolous activity, as an unattentive activity. We thought that it is quite easy, but it is not so easy if we go into the in details of the activity. As all the three friends, they were packing for this journey, and ultimately what happened in between, we come to know by the end of this chapter that who is the best packer and why. Okay, so Jairam, who has proposed this activity that he will do the packing, actual his intention was, this is the question, why he said so, that I will do the packing. What was his actual intention? His actual intention was just to it was just to, you can say, direct the activity. Okay, to supervise the activity. He did not want actually to pack the things. He just wanted to supervise the other two friends, that is George and Harris, to do the activity. But ultimately the other two friends have taken it in another manner. So George, you can say, he spread his legs over his easy chair, and ultimately Harris, he cocked his legs on the table, and they sat just watching Jairam to do all the things. And ultimately what happened, he started with the packing. Jairam, he has also shared his experience with one of his friends, in which he has mentioned that at one time he was living with a man who is quite, you can say, idle in nature. He would never like to do anything. He would put his hands at the back in this manner and would move up and down to and fro into the room, and just, you can say, look at the other person doing the thing. But Jairam said, I'm not like that. I will never do such kind of thing. Okay, so ultimately he started the packing. So when he packed all the things and finally he has strapped up the bag at the end, then Harris, just of his wish to irritate, maybe to irritate, or it can be, it is not mentioned in the chapter that he actually knew. He asked whether you have packed your boots in. So this irritated Jairam, that would he not be able to tell him when he was doing the packing. He has to open up his bag again. This is the first time he had opened up his bag. He had to open up his bag again, look for his boots. Finally, he has put his boots in and strapped the bag again. Later on, what happened when he has packed his, you can say, bag again, a horrible idea that haunted him was that whether he has packed his toothbrush inside or not. So this is the idea which often haunts him when he is preparing for a journey. Most of the times he is forgetting to pack his toothbrush. This happens with us also. Sometimes we are going outside, complete family is going on a trip or anywhere else, and ultimately it comes to our mind that room is locked, we have switched off the gas cylinder, such type of thing. So this idea of not packing the toothbrush, it often, you can say, haunts him. He said whenever I'm going to a journey, I often forget to pack my toothbrush, and sometimes I would have to rush to the sometimes I have to wake up early in the morning, do my, you can say, brushing, and ultimately open up the bag and do all the things, and ultimately have to pack again. Sometimes it happens, and when I'm at the last hour of my I'm at the 11th hour to start my journey, patients are talking, let me tell you. So ultimately, so what he has to do, he has to rush upstairs immediately from his car to take his toothbrush and to wrap in a handkerchief and slit in his pocket. So in this manner, he said that this is the worst idea that is always haunting him. Okay. So when he has, then ultimately he has to look for his toothbrush in the bag also. He unstrapped the bag again. He looked for his toothbrush. He has found all the things for his other two friends, each and everything, but he has not found his. Finally, he has found where he has found the toothbrush in one of his boots. Okay. So when he has finished, George asked him whether you have packed or whether he has packed the soap in. He said, I'm least bothered. I don't care for the soap, because he was tired of unstrapping and strapping the bag again. Okay, 2 to 3 times he has opened up. Finally, the packing was finished. Okay, of the bag. Now only now they were left only with the hampers. They are left with the hampers, and now they have to pack the hampers. Now this time, George and Harris, they proposed that they would pack the hampers, and when they started, it ultimately ended up in complete chaos. So first of all, what happened? So what was the first thing? What they have done? They have packed heavy things at the top and soft and lighter things at the bottom. For example, they have packed bottles, jars at the top of the bag, and you can say pies at the end. So smashing them down. Moreover, he has packed that jar of jam over the tomatoes, and ultimately the tomatoes, they squashed down, and they ultimately have to scoop out. They have to scoop out the tomatoes from the hampers with the spoon. Quite funny. This is the funny incident. Okay, just imagine a person picking up tomato from that polythene bag with the help of a spoon. How funny it looks. Okay, so later on, they sprawled salt over everywhere. They have thrown salt. Everything was had turned out to be salty. It means that the jar of the salt or the packet in which the salt was packed, it has sprawled everywhere. Okay, so then it was George's turn. What he did, he trod on the butter and then sat on a chair. Then when they were looking for the butter also, what Harris did, he sat on the butter, and the butter, it stuck to its back, and he was moving round and round. George was saying, I have put the butter here, where it has gone? I have put it here. I have seen it here. Even Harris was saying, even I have seen it on the chair. Then ultimately what happened, when they have made a complete circle over the room and they come in contact with each other again, then George, he discovered that the butter, it has stuck at the back of Harris. And ultimately he told him, just turn and just look for the butter. He turned and he was looking for the butter here and there in the room, but ultimately where was the butter? At the back of Harris. Again, a humorous incident. Okay. So this was the butter incident. Now finally, the dog Montmorency, name of the dog is Montmorency. He is adding on more trouble. The dog is too mischievous in nature that until and unless nobody would hit him at the top of his head, he would never come to know that, or he would never admit that my day is complete. He is always, you can say, sitting on the things which are to be packed, and ultimately the other persons, they were just looking for the things here and there in the room, that they have put the things here. Now where to pack, and ultimately where they found? Under the dog. Okay, so Montmorency is always Montmorency, the dog, is always adding on more trouble, and it tried to hunt the rats, for which, for lemons it took it as rats, and finally killed 3 of them. See, imagine a dog running after lemons and finally taking it as rats, and had killed and smashed 3 lemons. Again, funny incident. So the main thing that you would focus upon in this chapter is humorous incidents. Okay, this is the main thing. Who is the best packer out of 3? Now you have come to know. It is Jerem. Jerem is the best packer. Why? Although he has strapped or unstrapped the bag 3 times, but ultimately he has created less chaos as compared. He was organized. Okay, he has not, you can say, smashed down anything. He has packed the things in a wise manner and has kept all the things for his other 2 friends, that is George and Harris. But the other 2 friends, what they have done? They have ended up the packing of the hampers and turned this complete activity into a chaos. And ultimately what happened? This fraud, you can say, salt over everywhere. For butter incident, you can mention. Okay, then for that, scooping of the tomatoes. So you have to change according length of the question according to the marks allocated to it. Okay, compress and expand the matter accordingly. Okay, so finally the packing was finally done at 12:50. Now they have less than 6 hours to sleep. Now they're aroused at 5 for waking up in the morning, as Jerem was suggesting they should wake up at 6. George was saying no, it should be 7, and ultimately finally they settled out at 6:30. Finally they woke up. They have put a bathtub in between, that when the George will wake up, he would tumble over the tub and ultimately would wake up others. This is just a not a complete story. This is just an excerpt taken from the novel Three Men in a Boat. Okay, this I have already discussed all these in detail with you when we have read the chapter. So again, I am giving you 1 minute more to ask me your questions if you have not understood anything or you want to ask me anything to repeat. Yes, Bhumika.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning.
Ma'am, I want to ask that third time when Jerome unstrapped the bag, what was the thing that he forgot?
First of all, he unstrapped the bag to see for his boots. Second time, he unstrapped it to see for his toothbrush. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Any other thing? Any other student? So as nobody has raised up the hand, I will take it as that you have understood the chapter. Now, the next chapter is Truly Beautiful Mind. Keshav Rikki, I don't want to take your name again and again. Please be quiet. Don't talk. Then Truly Beautiful Mind. Okay. So Beautiful Mind, what the chapter is about, we have done that My Childhood also. We have completed revision work. Okay, let me start with My Childhood because this chapter is beforehand in syllabus. That is left in between. My Childhood. My Childhood, what the chapter is about. First of all, the chapter is taken from the autobiographical book written by APJ Abdul Kalam, Wings of Fire, in which he has explained about his life during when he was a child. Okay, APJ Abdul Kalam, where he was born in the state of Madras and belonged to a very simple family, simple living but high thinking. This chapter is delivering to us the message. And APJ Abdul Kalam's father's name was, what was the name of the father? Janul Abdi. Okay. What kind of nature? He did not have any formal education, but still he was blessed with words of wisdom. He had great wisdom in his nature, and he is austere in nature. Austere means just giving importance to the, you can say, the important things of life and ignoring the luxuries which are not much required in life or for happy living. And the name of her mother was Ashyama. Okay, she was quite a compatible partner to that of her to that of his father. Okay, and she's so kind in nature. She's so kind-hearted, also kind nature, and believe in the power of goodness. That she used to feed a number of persons in their family who are outsiders. APJ Abdul Kalam has mentioned that I really don't know that how many outsiders they used to eat food in our house than that of the original family members. Okay, so then he has explained about his house where he was living. The house was built someone in the start of the 19th century. It was an ancestral house which was made up of what? Limestone and bricks. Okay, so he has explained that my father is austere in nature and who has provided all the essentialities of life, all the things that are required for living a life, but he has never given importance to luxury. Then he has shared the incident of Second World War, that when there was Second World War broke out, there was a sudden rise of tamarind seeds in the world, and he used to collect those tamarind seeds and would sell at a provision store and would fetch some honor. But this was not the first way that he got. Many students have written in answer during the test that it was the first way. No, this was not the first way. It was not her. It was not, you can say, he's regularly going for a job. It was according to his will only. Then from his cousin also he is listening the stories, that is Jalaluddin, he is listening to the stories of Second World War, and he was relating these stories in the newspaper Dinamani. So what was Dinamani? It was the name of the newspaper mentioned in the chapter. And when there was, because of this Second World War, when India joined a group of allied forces, there was, you can say, announcement of an emergency in the country, and this resulted in cancellation of the halt at which station? Dhansukodi. Okay, that the train would not be stopping at that point. Then ultimately the village people have to get the newspaper. Then his cousin Shamsuddin, he was looking for a person who would help him to fetch the newspapers from the running train, would catch it and come to the village and distribute to the people. For that purpose, who has filled that slot? APJ Abdul Kalam. Okay, Abdul Kalam, he has filled that slot, and ultimately he was catching that news bundle of newspaper and was distributing in the village. So this is the way how he has earned his first wage. He was filled with the surge of pride when he earned his first wage. So this is the way how he has earned his first wage. So he has mentioned that he has learned various qualities from his father as well as mother. From his father, he has learned honesty, to be disciplined, to be self-satisfied, okay, self-discipline. And from his mother, he has learned what different qualities: goodness, kindness, to believe in the power of goodness for others. He has also mentioned about his three different friends who were Ramanand Shastri, Arivindam and Shiv Prakashan. Ramanand Shastri was the son of the highest priest of Rameshwaram temple, the famous Rameshwaram temple, and then who has taken over the priesthood of his father when he completed his education. Then his friend Arivandam, which business he was in? He later indulged in the business of arranging transport for the tourists. And Shiv Prakashan, he turned out to be the catering contractor of Southern Railways. So then again, after that, he has shared his experience that when they were in class 5th, a teacher, there was an appointment of a new teacher in the class, and the teacher did not, you can say, digest the thing that how on the first desk Muslim boy, that is Abdul Kalam, and Ramanand Shastri, who is the priest, okay, who is the son of the highest priest of Rameshwaram temple, they are sitting together. He was trying to sow the seeds of indifference among them, and he ultimately what he did, he shifted APJ Abdul Kalam to the last seat. There were tears in the eyes of both the boys. Later on, after reaching home, the two boys narrated the incident to their fathers, and the priest of Rameshwaram temple, he called the teachers, he scolded them, and also threatened him that he should leave the island forever and not to see these seeds of, you can say, seeds of difference among the children. And if we want to live here, he should let them sit together and never discriminate on the basis of caste and religion. So this way the teacher has learnt a lesson that we all are one and we have to live together, and he has shunned all the differences apart. Then afterwards, he has also a mention of his teacher Subramaniam Iyer, okay, a science teacher who has once invited him to his house for dinner. His wife, who is strict Brahmin, was never allowing a Muslim boy to enter her kitchen and sit. In that manner, if he would sit, she would consider that his kitchen has turned out to be, impure, yes. Then, but Abdul Kalam has mentioned that I don't know when I had eaten the dinner, my teacher, he himself has served the food to me, and she must have realized that there is no difference between him and me. There is no difference between Hindus and Muslims. The way they eat, the way they carry their body activities, the way they carry their daily activities. Later on, when he said, my teacher invited me to the dinner for the next time, that is the next coming week, she herself has served me. APJ Abdul Kalam is mentioned. She herself has served me, and my teacher has taught me a lesson. APJ Abdul Kalam is saying that at that moment, Subramaniam Iyer, my science teacher, he had taught me a lesson that if you want to bring a change in the society, you would face such kind of obstacles. Actually, he was making him to face such kind of obstacles that he would face in his later life, because he knew his caliber. He knew that he would grow or he would turn out to be a great man one day. Okay. After completing his school, APJ Abdul Kalam, he wanted that from Rameshwaram he should go to Ramananthapuram, to complete his higher education. But for this, his mother was quite reluctant to separate his dear son to go for his higher education, and to this his father has quoted the lines of Khalil Gibran. What he said, that your children are yours, okay, but you have given birth to them, but that doesn't mean that they will follow the guidelines of their of that they would do whatever you want to do. They would follow the guidelines what you are telling them. They have their own thoughts, they have their own dreams, and they have to fulfill them. We can give them our love, but not our thoughts. Okay, even he has cited the example of a seagull, that is bird seagull would have to leave its nest in order to catch its food for the children. So how can we stop our child to go to get, or how can we stop our child to go and get his higher education? So again I am repeating that this chapter is from famous book Wings of Fire. Okay, so any problem in this chapter, I will give you 1 minute. You can ask me any doubt if you have any. So I take it as that you have understood this chapter.